Good morning. Welcome back to the Caroline Wellness Resort in Miami. It's sunny here and we're doing a lot of activities. Yoga's going on right now. And then we're going to be doing some aqua spin class. But I'm excited to be here with Susie Ellis. She's the co-founder, chair, and CEO of Global Wellness Institute and the Global Wellness Summit. Today, she's going to be talking about 5 ways to improve your mental wellness. Susie is the chair and CEO of the nonprofit Global Wellness Institute, considered the industry's leading global research and education resources. This past November, she led the industry at the Global Wellness Summit at the Breakers Resort, one of the first in-person conferences, education summit after COVID. Everyone was afraid to travel, afraid to do events. Susie did it well, flawlessly, and it was just brilliant. So she's a leader in our industry. She has an upcoming Global Wellness Summit in Tel Aviv this November. So there's still time to be with our community, be in our industry, and I'm so honored to introduce Susie Ellis in 5 ways to improve your mental wellness. Good morning, Susie.
Thank you, Kim, and thank you for that introduction. And I met Belgin at a Global Wellness Summit, and I first want to start by applauding her and the Global Wellness Day organizers for making mental wellness its 2021 focus. I really think it is the issue of the moment. And so thank you for inviting me to share on that topic. It's really pretty appropriate because our research last year, our Global Wellness Institute it's a nonprofit, it does research, and last year's research was defining mental wellness. The timing was really very good. And that report is available to anyone for free on globalwellnessinstitute.org. But I thought today what I would do, in keeping with the spirit of Global Wellness Day, is to share with you what I do for my mental wellness. 5 things that maybe could be helpful to those who are watching. And I'll talk about 4, and then I will invite you to experience one of the modalities that I use with me at the end. So to start with, let me give you 5 things that I think are important and that I've incorporated for my mental wellness. The first one is time in nature. And, there's a lot of research that shows being out in nature is healthy. It helps boost your cognition, creativity, memory. And so it's free and it's easy. You just get out in nature. But what I have learned about getting out in nature is something that I learned by studying forest bathing. I don't know if any of you have heard of that, but it is a Japanese it started in Japan. It's known as Shinrin Yoku, and it is actually something in Japan that has been studied, and it shows, when people go out in nature, how their physical body and their mental well-being is better after being in nature. So what I've learned is when you go out in nature, it's not just about, being on your iPad or with your earphones or talking away with someone. It's getting out in nature and really embodying all your senses, looking at the trees, smelling the outdoors, listening to the birds, even feeling. I read a book on hugging a tree, and I've done that. I've gone and I've actually hugged a tree, and, you just remember how the bark feels. So being out in nature and doing that, if you can, every day. I live in Miami, so it's easier for me to get out because the weather is good. And so I do that almost every day. And there was one research study I read that showed getting out into more of an awe-inspiring nature place for, waterfalls or ocean is even better for you. So I make an effort. I don't live on the ocean, but I can go to the ocean. So once a week, at least, I go and watch the crashing waves. So number 1, time in nature. Number 2, for my mental health and well-being, is respecting sleep, making sleep a priority. And the research shows that it helps to go to sleep at about the same time every evening and get up about the same time every morning. And that is more consistent and more healthy for your body than having it be all over the place. So I go to bed about 10:30. every evening. And I wake up at about 7, so that's 8.5 hours of sleep. And I really do make that a priority. I also have learned, a cooler room helps, a dark room helps, not eating before going to bed, and turning off devices, lowering lights, and then in the morning, getting out and getting some sunshine as soon as possible. So number 2 is respecting sleep. Number 3 is connecting with others at a deep level. There's a lot of things talked about for our mental health and mental well-being, but a Harvard study shows, and actually there have been others, that the one predictor of lifelong happiness and health, more than money, more than IQ, more than genetics, is your deep connections with other people. And of course, with the pandemic, that was interrupted. So we have to make a little more of an effort. So social connections are very important. And for me, it's a priority. And I would say my sister, I have a twin sister, we're actually identical. And she lives in Austin, Texas. And so in fact, I'm here now. And she comes and visits me, or we're on the phone. Friendships are important, but not just surface friendships. It's that deep, sharing really important things that are concerning you. That is very helpful. And we've also done that with work. We have about 12 people on our team, and we have a meeting every week. And once a month, we do something called a virtual brunch. And on that call, we don't talk about work at all. We interchange how we're feeling and what's going on. And that has deepened our relationships with each other. During the pandemic, in fact, we found out one of our team members didn't have enough food because she lived out in the woods and couldn't, get deliveries. So we were able to help. So those kinds of things. So that was number 3. Number 4 for mental wellness is to disconnect from digital and be careful about what you're reading, making it inspirational, and maybe adding meditation. So, people are online a lot. We all are, but that is also a cause for loneliness and can increase anxiety and depression. So setting some limits on digital time is good. Also, the World Happiness Report came out and showed the one thing in 2020, which of course was the main pandemic year, that they showed made a big difference in people's not being as happy is how much news they consumed. The people that consumed more news were less happy. And I relate to that. Somewhere along the line in 2020, I just sort of decided I'm taking a news fast, and that has been really helpful. So be careful about how much news you consume. And then some inspirational reading for me each morning. I do some of that. I spend a few minutes in prayer, and on Sundays I take off, don't work, and I have a little bit of a longer meditation session. And lastly is breath work. And this is inspired. We had James Nestor at our summit last year. He's the author of the book Breath, The New Science of a Lost Art. I've learned to be more of a nose breather rather than a mouth breather. And I like doing the interval breathing. So I'm going to do that with you just very, very quickly. Basically, it is interval nostril breathing. And you just close one nostril. I start with the right. You inhale through the left. Hold your breath. And then with the ring finger, close the left nostril and exhale. Then inhale again through the right. Close the nostril and exhale through the left. And then I do that 3 times. And that is something that stimulates the parasympathetic nervous system, helps you relax. It is a quick way to get from anxiety into relaxation. So those are my 5 tips. That's what I do. Time in nature, making sleep a priority, connecting deeply with others, limiting digital time and adding inspirational reading, and then using breath work. So happy Mental Wellness Day, Global Wellness Day, and add the mental wellness component. It's very, very important.